think this is the right one.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We can definitely see it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's a problem. Yeah.
Okay, so here today we're going to talk about HuggingGPT, which is a very powerful pre-trained language model, which is dealing with NLP tasks and also any other tasks. So that's today's content. That's what we're going to talk about today, which is include what is HuggingGPT, how does it work, and I'm going to show you some key codes of HuggingGPT and talk about its capability. Also, there will be some introduction to the Hugging Face Hub, which is very amazing, and also we would have some examples. So let's get started. The first one we're going to talk about is what is HuggingGPT. Before we really get into what is HuggingGPT, I do have a question, that is, what is a task that a big expert AI modes cannot do? Because we always hear the story that AI modes can do almost everything. So this is a question for everyone. What is the task that big expert AI models cannot do? So you feel free to share your thoughts about what do you think the expert AI models cannot do.
Well, the question probably is more specifically as what cognitive tasks that AI cannot do, right?
Yeah,
because obviously AI can't, eat for us or playing football with us. So it's more of intellectual or cognitive tasks.
Yeah. So as for me, I think actually this question, what I'm trying to say that think about AI models that can generate a picture, but it would be impossible for this AI model to recognize or generate a soundtrack, even though you can connect to AI models, but as for the picture AI model itself, it cannot understand what the soundtrack is. So here comes HuggingGPT, and this is actually the definition from the paper. HuggingGPT is a collaborative system that consists of large language models and the controller and the numerous expert models as the collaborative executors. And I think this is quite confusing if we just look at the definition here. So here I draw a very simple picture about what HuggingGPT is. It's firstly we start with the LLMs like ChatGPT here, and we put our request, like our task, what we want. Then LLMs will translate all these tasks into all kinds of tasks, what are we going to do, what do we want, and HuggingGPT will find expert AI models in Hugging Face and finish the task with the expert AI models, and then return all the result to ChatGPT, which where ChatGPT can generate the response that people can understand. So as in my own words, I think HuggingGPT is a bridge between LLMs and all the expert AI models, and I think to some degree it's like a everything app, which means once you got the expert AI models and you you find a way to implement it in Hugging Face or upload it in Hugging Face, you can have using those LLMs to do everything. So next step, we're gonna talk about how does it work. We know that HuggingGPT could be amazing, but how does it work? So there are actually 4 steps in the whole process. And the first step is task planning, second is model selection, then is task execution and response generation. I know that could be a little bit confusing, but before we go a little deeper into all the 4 steps, I want to show you an example that the paper provided. So this example is, as you can see, it's a very simple request that please generate an image where a girl is reading a book and her pose is the same as the boy in the image image example.jpg. And then please describe the new image with your voice. So this could be a very complex request for LLMs like ChatGPT, because ChatGPT can never generate a recognized pose and can never generate an image for you. But here, if we send this to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT basically it's just like translated into different tasks to HuggingGPT. And here we can say that the first stage here is task planning, which is once we read this whole sentence, we know that firstly we have our input is a example image of a boy, and then we need the outcome have the sample. Exactly the sample that the example here. So the first task would be post control, and we can see the arguments here is the image, the example image 1, and after we got the post control, like we got the data of the post, and we want image that using that post to generate. So we got it. Our second task is post to image. The task, this is more like a label to tell you that what is this task is going to do. And the argument is there are two arguments. One is a reading girl, and the second one is resources that are generated from the task 1. At the same time, we got if you see the arrow here, you can see that in the same time we got a task 3, task 4, and a task 5, which is image class based on these resources and object detect, because we want to like describe here we said that we want to describe the new image with your voice. That means we at least need to detect what's in the image. And also once you need to describe it, you need from image to the text. And the last we said in the request is you describe the image with your own voice. So that means we need a soundtrack here from, well, since we already got a text, the only thing we need to do is from text to speech. So this basically the whole task planning process. And in the second stage is like a model selection. HuggingGPT will help with select the right expert mode, which is the most amazing part of HuggingGPT. That is using all this task ID here. Like for example, here is object detect, and the arguments, which is our input resources 2, which is generated by task 2. And this is an example of HuggingGPT choose AI models that are developed by Facebook and that can detect the object in an image. And our input is a post from this is image from the task 2. And once the HuggingGPT select the right AI models, we'll go to task 3 with the task execution. That is find our task, input our arguments, and also using the right model to generate the right outcome that we want. Also, HuggingGPT also support hybrid endpoints, which means it can at the same time it can both have access to the Hugging Face AI models in Hugging Face Hub and your local AI models which you deployed. And the last stage is response generation with the help of ChatGPT, like LLMs like ChatGPT. It can generate a response that people can understand. But here the developer of HuggingGPT set the temperature of ChatGPT equals to 0 and the logical bias equals to 0.2, which makes the outcome less creative but more stable. It's more. If we see the response here, this is example response. There's image 1 example, post control, post detective and control, then generate image, object detection, and our text and our audio. So if you see the response here, you will find that it's more like an article instead of people is talking, because we set the temperature to 0, which makes the whole thing less creative but more stable. So let's go back to the 4 stages. Let's go deeper into the 4 stages. The first one is task planning. So how did HuggingGPT do task planning? that is totally based with the help of LLMs like ChatGPT. Here we can see there are 4 tables, which is the task that currently HuggingGPT can support. We got text tasks, we got CV tasks that may related to image, visual or some visual tasks, and also we got audio task here that is text to speech, like something like related audio and video tasks. Basically, this all the tasks that HuggingGPT can currently recognize and currently find the right AI models to deal with. And how does HuggingGPT find all this, recognize all these tasks? Actually, HuggingGPT cannot never recognize this task. It really depends on what the ChatGPT or other LLMs, any LLMs that using the prompts to return to HuggingGPT. And the second step is it's a model selection. This is very important because once we got the right task, we need to select the right AI models to finish our task. So there's actually 2 very important things. That is, one's the model description. This is actually this is why once we use the hybrid endpoint, HuggingGPT can only have access to AI models in Hugging Face Hub. That's because once you upload your expert AI models to Hugging Face, it will require that add a description. We'll see that later. Add a description of this AI model that is describe using the table we just saw and describe what this AI model is going to do and or what's the task ID of the task. So that HuggingGPT can recognize what AI model is and find it in a very quick way. Also, we know that our task can be really complex because we can't expect that using all those labels to describe every task. So that is we want to use a context-based task model assignment. What's that mean is actually HuggingGPT here use a very smart way. That is, the developer said that they believe that the most used or the most downloaded AI models are the most reliable with the task we want to find. So actually the way they find the right AI model here, right AI model here is in the task model assignment process, it's actually once they got the task ID, the description of the task, and they select the top key AI models with that label or that task ID, and the key is totally based on the users. You can set like a key equals to 10 or 5. That's totally your decision. And they choose the top 5, maybe for example, the equals to 5. They choose the top 5 AI models and try them with the input and see which one can work. Also, then we go to the third task. The third task is the third step is the task execution. That once we got the right AI model, we want to generate our own like the result we want. So here's a table that is a little bit complicated, but we just go a little bit deeper in this. Because this table explains how HuggingGPT recognize tasks and how HuggingGPT solve all those problems in multitask situation. If we look at this example, in the task planning stage, this example that look at the exp1.jpg. Can you tell me how many objects in this picture? This is quite a simple request. And what ChatGPT will return to HuggingGPT is actually lines like this. It's task image to text and ID 0. That means this is an individual task. And the DEP here, DEP means dependence. We will expand because we know that in some complex task, the outcome will rely on the result of the previous task. That means we we can't expect that one AI model finish all the things. That's why we need this dependence ID here. That means if the dependence ID can really help HuggingGPT recognize which task comes first and which task comes later. And we can see that the arguments here is image. And the second one is the individual task, and the task is object detection, which means in this request, HuggingGPT will find two AI models. One's image to text and other is object detection. And they are two individual tasks because the dependence is -1. They are all -1. And if we look at this complex request here, we can see that task is we can see that given image, giving an image exp3.jpg, we first generate a head image. Then based on the head image and the prompt, a girl is reading a book. You need to reply with a new image. So that's the complex task. So we can see here the same thing happens: task image, ID, dependence, arguments, and we can also see that here ID equals to 1 and ID equals 2. That means these are different tasks because this task is more like help HuggingGPT to recognize if this task they are different tasks. And we can see here dependence equals to -1 and 1. That means there are some dependent relationship between these two tasks because this is -1, this is 1. And the arguments here, and the arguments is different, since you can see here, these arguments really based on the image resources 1, which is generated by the first few tasks. And here in the model selection, we can see that we got the description of the model which is a task here. Once HuggingGPT uses this task ID label of task to find the right model, and as I said, we will select top key candidates models with the same task type and the current task, and HuggingGPT will try all of them to generate the right outcome. And how they select is the top key. It's the most used one. So I know the third stage is actually kind of confusing if we want to understand the whole picture. So here comes an example. So in the example, given the collection image of A, B, C, please tell how many zebras in the picture. Obviously, if we are human, we know that there are only 2 pictures contain a zebra and there are 4 zebras. But as for HuggingGPT, it will firstly, as you can see in the response, it will firstly find a AI model that can generate captions for each image. So it find with GPT-2 image caption, and then with the result of the first AI model, HuggingGPT will use detection mode called Facebook, derived by Facebook, and you can see that here it's got the outcome image and using the image to calculate how many zebras. So even though this is a response of the of HuggingGPT, but actually it tells you how HuggingGPT generate like how the task is executed. So for the task execution, it's actually the one of the most amazing part in HuggingGPT. Here one is HuggingGPT support a hybrid endpoint, because you can't expect that Hugging Face can work every time. You may have internet issue. There's many things can go wrong. So HuggingGPT actually support hybrid endpoint, which is you can use your local AI model, and also you can use the AI model in Hugging Face Hub. And here resource dependency is how HuggingGPT decide which task comes first. As we just mentioned, there's a dependence ID, and HuggingGPT use that to decide which one comes first and which one comes later. And the last one is response generation. The response generation, as we can see here, is generated. We wanted to generate audio that an astronaut is walking in space and dub it. So we can say the response generation is basically it's not very like what what people are trying to what people saying. It's more like an article that explains every specific step. That is what HuggingGPT do and which AI model is working. And here we can see in the task planning, we got these two tasks, task 1, task 0, task 1, and they are not dependent on each other. So the arguments are all the same because we want the audio and video. And the task execution that is generated to audio and a video. So there will be two execution of the result. Okay, I think that's quite so much for explaining how HuggingGPT works. But it could be still confusing. But we're going to the next step is some of the most important codes in HuggingGPT. So there are actually two core codes in HuggingGPT. One is the server model, which is basically in server model, what they do is decide which model to exclude it, because you can't include it, because you can't load every AI models at the same time. It would not be very efficient. And also there's other core code called awesome chat, and that part is actually the part that is really working. The planning task, connecting with LLMs and Hugging Face and arrange a response. So firstly, let's go to the core mode of server. I'll show you in my subline. So can you guys see the code here? Okay. So in the mode server, as you can see, it's quite complex. It's imported a lot of packages, and as you can see, the transformer package actually developed by this library is actually developed by Hugging Face itself. So so like the auto image processor, and basically this is why how our codes can have access to the Hugging Face hub. And what I want to share with is that in this model survey, server, and what this model trying to do is that load all the as you can see, this is a load all the AI models here, and you can see that is local deployment, which and other pipes here. You can see a lot of AI models here. This is actually they are just different AI models. So even though it looks complex, but all you need to do is to check what are these AI models is. For example, this one we just saw it in the example. It's an image captioning AI model, and basically this part they are doing just keep on doing decide which AI models to include it. And this is also the basic mostly it's the same thing, but it was just decided, just to decided which because we have different kinds of local deployment flag in the configuration file. So this part is depends on what you set. It will decide which AI models to include it. Basically, this is what the this model server code is doing. And as you can see in the configuration file, which this is the OpenAI key and the Hugging Face key token, the Hugging Face token here, and you can see that local deployment we choose full. So if you run the code, it will use the full deployment of all the AI models that deployed locally. So here I want to show you the configuration, which is great that because HuggingGPT, the developer, they provided actually four kinds of configuration choice. When the default, which is basically deployed everything, and you can have access to Azure and the Gradual, and also you can have a light one. The configuration for light is more like exclude all the AI models. You have to add all the AI models manually, which is faster. And here in the configuration file, we can see that the number of candidate models here, as we just mentioned, the rules of choosing the right expert model is choose the top key top key AI models. Here we set the number equals to 5, and the max description length here is since we got a task description like the task ID we just mentioned, the max length is 100 characters. I think for most time we don't have to use more than 100, but here we set the number to 100. And for the awesome chat part, here we can see that it's also input a lot of packages, but especially here if we want to have access to Hugging Face, and if we want to using the hybrid inference, we have to import all the libraries. And here we can just skip all this part because and I want to mention what I want to mention is here what they use. This is one of the most important part in chat, because you want to use LLMs, you have to decide which LLMs to use. So here they also use the GPT 3.5 Turbo and the LLM encoding, which is like translate the tasks into a way that HuggingGPT can understand. So here use TextDaVinci 003. But actually there's a problem here, and it's still not fixed yet. It's like the endpoint of GPT 3.5 Turbo. It's like, and you can see here the endpoint is we want chat completion, while the endpoint of TextDaVinci 003 is different. It's missing the chat part. So this can actually cause some problems, because GPT 3.5 the return result of GPT 3.5 Turbo sometimes cannot be understood by TextDaVinci 003. The developer said they are working on that. Hopefully they can fix that maybe next week. So let's go deeper into the code that is really working. Here is just some import of the models and the recognition of Hugging Face headers, like the what token you're using and the authorization. So we can just skip it. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we can see that local model inference, since we have mentioned that HuggingGPT can have access to both online resources and the local resources, local AI models. So here in the inference process, that is HuggingGPT decide which AI models to use. Here we got the local one. Also we also got Hugging Face Hub one. So here this part is for local one. That is, if you got the model server model ID, and if you got the model ID that start with the part that HuggingGPT can recognize, that then based on the task we have, if you see here, based on the task we have, like text to video, it will choose the right AI model locally. And the same thing happens if you want to have access to online AI models, but you can only have access to online AI models that are uploaded in Hugging Face. And also you have to like deploy it in the model server so that you can have access to it. Also here, like model inference. Basically this part is just doing the similar things, that is inference decide which AI models to use based on what we have deployed in model server. And HuggingGPT also provides a lot of scenario that you can use. Firstly, you can use in like here in command line, in server. Also you can use in the web page, which is more friendly to people who does not know about command line or any other thing like that. Ooh, this is a tough part. So after the tough part, we just talk about let's talk about what's the capability of of HuggingGPT. So this actually is the summary. How I summarize HuggingGPT's capability. Firstly, HuggingGPT, with the help of LLMs, HuggingGPT can actually handle with multitasks and multi-source input. But what's most awesome is that I think HuggingGPT can deal with qualitative results and quantitative results at the same time. So here's an example. For the qualitative result here, it's like, for example, we ask HuggingGPT to please recognize the name entities in this sentence, and it can choose the right AI models to recognize the entities. The entity recognized are people's daily and town. Both of them are organizations and people respectively. And the text generation, of course, also it can also generate. Oops. It can also generate the quantity result. Like here, if you want to estimate the depth of this image, and it can really return you dense prediction transformer using a dense prediction transformer to generate a depth image. But I think there's something missing in this image, because you have to add the labels here to tell the user what color what different color means here. But still, it's generate a quantitative result here. As we all know, ChatGPT is not very good at math, but with the help of HuggingGPT, you could choose the AI models that specifically can do math problems. So let's go a little. So in our research, in academic life, HuggingGPT, since HuggingGPT can choose the like millions of AI expert AI models, so I think it's easy for it to help with paper reading. You can help with a graph, a table recognition, generating, of course, better math performance, and the code optimization. Of course, there's a lot of it can do a lot of things. Paper reading. Actually, I want to share a very interesting website is called Elicit, which is you can just simply put your research question, and it will understand what the research question is, not just based on the keywords. It's understand the research question and return you the most latest papers in this area, and also generate a summary, generate the and find other people's critique and maybe citations, which is amazing. So, but for now, I think the HuggingGPT can actually do better than that website, but that website is also amazing too. So for the summary of the capability of HuggingGPT, I think as I mentioned, it's for me it's more like everything app. So let's think about everything. So it's like once you get an AI model, the capability HuggingGPT is capable of like finish every task you offer you gave. So let's go a little further. That as for me, I think I know I'm not sure if it's right, but I feel like it's like a way to AGI. It's more like artificial general intelligence. It's more like the AGI is more like it means that the AI can learn to accomplish any intellectual tasks that human beings or other animals can perform. It's not like just like specific task. It's more like thinking like human rather than just using the computer logic. For example, if you ask ChatGPT, what's the color of the sky? ChatGPT would tell you it's blue. And if you say no, you're wrong, it's yellow. And what ChatGPT will do is apologize and say, yeah, it's yellow. And you say, no, you're wrong. ChatGPT will apologize again and give you another answer. So I feel like what ChatGPT do is based on the training and just responding. It's no matter right or wrong, it's no matter it's really thinking. But HuggingGPT give me a feeling that it's making decision. So even though it's not perfect, but I feel like it's on its way of step to AGI. So here, I want to introduce Hugging Face and show some examples, which is very interesting and amazing. And here you can see here's ID Vito99. It's my ID on Hugging Face. So if you are interested, you can search me there. So here what we got in Hugging Face that is the main page of Hugging Face, and this is my page. And you can see here I duplicate AutoGPT and HuggingGPT Lite in my space. So if you view my space, you can have access to that. Also, HuggingGPT provide a lot of AI models. As you can see here, this numbers goes up every day. Yesterday when I checked it, it's only like it's 190,000 models here, but today is over 200,000. So you can find your ideal AI models here. You can based on the task, maybe feature extraction, text to image, and deep estimation, as we just mentioned. And also you can find it based on the library here, based on what library this AI model using, and I have to say the transformers is developed by Hugging Face itself. Also, you can use the data set since sometimes you just don't know what the task is, and sometimes you just have not decided which library to use. You can using the data set here to find the most probably ideal AI models. Also languages, license, like there's thousands of them. You can basically fit like everything. Also, Hugging Face also provided some very important data set here. As you can see, there's many data set here. So if you want to train your own AI model, you can have access to all the data set they are offering. The most important part is the space. It's actually uploaded by the users. So the users use the AI models provided in Hugging Face and develop their own app. So basically, you can just click any of them and see others work, how others work. So here I find a bear classification AI models. Here is basically it can do nothing else but just recognize what kind of bear you are input. Here it said it's 100% grizzly, and here you can see it said it's like 100% of a teddy, which is quite interesting. So there's a lot about Hugging Face. So here comes the main character today. It's HuggingGPT itself. So if you want to have access to HuggingGPT, like provided by Microsoft, you have to wait in line for many hours. So the better way is duplicate it to your own space and run it. But the original one requires NVIDIA GPU, which is quite expensive. So I find one that is running on CPU, which might be a little bit slower, but it's free. And I have to say thanks to this guy, to Siri, even though I never met this guy, but he helped me a lot when I try to duplicate all this and make it run on CPU. But currently there's an issue happened in OpenAI. And as we can see here, I use Text Davinci, but the endpoint issue still come up. So for now I've contacted them, but they say they'll fix it as soon as possible. We'll just wait. So I'm a little bit sorry that I can't do a live demo on HuggingGPT today. And Professor An actually sent me a video this morning, and which is a very amazing. That is a deployment of Hugging Face agents, which is much easier than simply using HuggingGPT, because it's in this code. Okay, I just run here. In this code here, here's my OpenAI key, and all you have to do is just to install transformers, diffusers, accelerators, OpenAI. All you have to do is that. Once you install all of them, okay, it's connecting. Once you install like all of them, let's just give it a second, and you basically you don't have to do anything. You just run the code, And here the author here use transformer, diffuser, and accelerator. which means that this guy wanna have access to Hugging Face Hub. And this is using a Hugging agents, and you can see here is quite simple input, because we use transformer tools to import OpenAI agent, and we named the agent using the model text.nc 03 with our own OpenAI key, and we just run it. So give it a little, okay. So as you can see here, there's no more steps. It's just directly download tools configuration files from Hugging Face. And these are all the tools configuration files. You don't have to deploy the AI models like usually, like when I try to deploy the AI models, it takes a really long time, but for now you don't have to deploy it. You just run it. And here we want to see generate. If we want to generate an image that about, oh, I think there's arrow here, because we said generate, but the AI model said use caption. That means, oh, there's another glitch. I think there's another glitch. So if everything runs right, we should see this one. You can see here, if the text DaVinci recognize my request right, you should use an image generator rather than what we have here, an image captioner. I don't know what's wrong with the text DaVinci, but I think there's a glitch. So if everything goes right, here we can see that it generated an image in the boat, and as you can see, we ask if you can caption the image. Then that's where we are using the caption image, and it's very simple. Since you can see, the only thing we do is using agent.run. We don't have to tell Python which AI models to use, and basically you don't have to do anything. You just agent.run, and everything is automatic, which is much better and amazing than the previous HuggingGPT. And we tell the AI models to like caption the boat image, and here's the explanation. The result is a boat floating in the water with clouds in the background. Okay, and here's agent run prompt template. This is everything we have, actually. This is everything we have here. Also, the agent, what Hugging Face agent can also provide an easier way, this agent.chat, which means you don't even have to define a variable that contains result. You just use agent.chat. Then it's more like chat directly to Hugging Face instead of using all the codes like we have to define. There's a variable and we have to find the outcome. You don't have to do that. We just agent.chat, which is very easy. And it's just like you are using ChatGPT, but it can generate audio, generate picture, which is very amazing. And this guy also asked to generate a picture using the elephant to replace the giraffe, which is quite weird, but it's not very perfect, but I have to say it's amazing me. So I feel that that's a lot for the examples, and I'm really sorry that it doesn't run today. But this happens a lot when you are trying to coding. So there's still some issues and limitations. Since we have seen today, there's many issues and limitations in HuggingGPT actually. Firstly, the issues is there's actually a conflict between GPT 3.5 Turbo and Text DaVinci 03. Even though GPT 3.5 Turbo is good at reading natural languages, but the real experts in task planning and the task translation is actually Text DaVinci 03. But as you can see, there's different endpoints which sometimes can cause issue. Also, many expert AI models in Hugging Face requires a NVIDIA GPU to maximize the performance. So if you are using CPU or you are using a Mac, that probably doesn't work for you. And if I also try to run it on Docker to see if I can just run it on Mac, but only support AMD when you run it on Docker, so which is another issue. So basically, it's not. I feel there's some AI models. It's not very friendly with Mac users. And also, we got a lot of limitations here. Limitation first one is it requires at least one interaction with the LLMs during task planning, model selection, and response generation stages, which greatly increase the response latency. And also, there's an image of the max context length. As you can see, we just show you in seeing the code in the configuration file. There's only the max context length is 100. So if you want a more complex task that is more than 100, I think that will be work. Also, there's issue of system stability, which is still need to develop. Recently, like 3 weeks ago, we saw news that AutoGPT is released, and HuggingGPT and RGB, they can actually do similar things. Like RGPT can also like generate a picture, like do multitask, do complex tasks, and AutoGPT can also like help you to maybe planning something, maybe planning for your business, which is amazing, planning for your dinner. So they are similar, but what's the difference? So the difference is AutoGPT using several GPT agents to interact to each other to achieve a goal or task, which means AutoGPT is actually doing things, is actually take part in the whole process. But HuggingGPT, even though it can do similar things, but the difference, even though it can do similar things, but HuggingGPT does not know how to handle the task. It just pass the task to the expert. As for HuggingGPT itself, it doesn't do anything. It just pass the task, recognize the task, and pass it to the experts. So I'm really appreciate and thank you for time and attention. It's been a lot to take for in just 1 hour, and here's my reference. It's not much, and I think now it's time for Q&A. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and attention.
Yeah, thank you so much, Binyuan. This has been really informative. I guess many of us are amazed not only by the capacity of Hugging Face or HuggingGPT, but as well as by your devotion to this topic. So 3 weeks ago, when we talk about it, you probably have not heard of the HuggingGPT, but now you are definitely the expert in this room. Thank you so much for your fantastic introduction. So now let's open up to questions. Any question from the audience? Feel free to use the chat bot or just unmute yourself and ask.
I have a question. My question is about, you mentioned a website which is good for research topic.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I'm going to share it. Yes,
and you also mentioned that Hugging Face GPT or HuggingGPT also can serve the same function. So I'm wondering, could you like realize or operate here how to use the HuggingGPT to like help form a research topic?
Sure. So here in this HuggingGPT runs on CPU. So there's currently actually an issue that caused by OpenAI because of different endpoint that updated in OpenAI, because in this model we use GPT 3.5 Turbo to add the LLM and Text DaVinci 03 to add the encoder. But this is actually caused by OpenAI with the different endpoint, you might have issue. There will always be error that HuggingGPT can not currently using the GPT 3.5 Turbo and DaVinci at the same time. So if you do really want to know, do really want to use this to help with research, you can just here. Maybe firstly you can go to the Hugging Face here, and you can see maybe we just set maybe image to text if we want, like using a AI model that help us to understand what the graph is trying to say. So here we got a lot of here, and this is one of the most used one. And all you have to do is deploy. Inference, you can deploy it here. Oh, sorry, it's not here. You can just deploy it to your own space or Gradio in very simple way. And once you deploy to your own space, and you can load it. And you can load it into your HuggingGPT. Then once the OpenAI wants to fix this issue, you can just simply text it. So currently there's the issue, like I can actually show you. So here I paste my OpenAI API, and also I paste my access tokens of Hugging Face, right? And the currently, if the issue is solved, it should work like this. So, and you can see here is tell you using different endpoint, which is OpenAI updated their endpoint, which caused this issue. And if this issue does not exist, there should be a right outcome. As you can see here, we can check if the AI models is loaded, and you can see here, this is the AI model we just mentioned is GPT image caption, which is most frequently used to describe what is the image talk about. Basically, it's how it works. It's just from very simple click. And if you want to deploy it with your own hands, like manually, you can just go to model server and deploy it here, other pipes, and you can deploy it. Like this is the name of the AI model and the required arguments and device you want. So you just type it here and you can deploy it.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Any other questions? I think this is a fantastic opportunity for you to ask questions, and there could be many. So some of you might not be familiar with, so Bin Yuan, I'll give you a brief introduction about some of the platforms. For those of you who have not taken my deep learning course or the postmaster certificate program, it could be overwhelming for sure, because some of the models may seem really alien to you, because we are talking about thousands of different models of different types of model to do multitasking. So the Hugging Face, basically a very brief introduction about Hugging Face is that is the largest open source deep learning model, the place to host all those different type of open source deep learning models to do a variety of different tasks. As Bin Yuan mentioned, we have the multimodal models that can do that take different types of input and output different type of data. For example, text, image, video, audio, tablet data. We also have specific task-related model, for example, computer vision models, dealing with images and videos and audios to some extent, and natural language processing models that mainly deal with natural language text. and there are many other models there as well. So basically, the goal for the use of HuggingGPT is to use the large language models, for example, the OpenAI's ChatGPT model, or any other large language models, to auto access and deploy the large number of deep learning models hosted in Hugging Face. So that is the idea, the major intake here. So previously, what we did is we have to handpick, right, a particular model that may work or may not work for a task. But now we delegate this decision making to HuggingGPT, because now the large language models have been developed to have this capacity to comprehensively understand our tasks and being able to classify the tasks into subtasks that can be handled by individual expert models. Okay? So that is really the key. What Bingyuan mentioned about AGI, right? We don't know whether we have achieved AGI, probably not at this stage. But what we can see is that there is clear a trend of using language model to access many expert models to work together to solve a complex task or a number of tasks sequentially. Another trend many of you may start to notice is the multimodal multitask model. A few days ago, Meta, the Facebook, previously called, hosted a open sourced a very large multimodal model that can take 6 different types of input and outputs. Okay? So we will see both the HuggingGPT and AutoGPT type of models that try to use many individual specific models, as well as we will see more of the large multimodal model being deployed, and both have their pros and cons. Right? So we are going to be in this very complex landscape, and we need to test out different agents, different models to see what works best for our potential need. So regarding the HuggingGPT model being introduced, so you are not obligated to pay OpenAI to use the DaVinci 003 model, because you do need to pay a little bit of fee. It's not substantial, but if you generate a lot of tasks, the costs tend to accumulate. So you can, in fact, use any of the Hugging Face large language models. For example, the largest ever model in Hugging Face hosted is called Bloom, BLOOM, which has 500 billion parameters. It is the largest model, a lot larger actually than GPT 3.5. But well, yeah, as we have been already found that it is a super large model. So, but and all the open source models are free of charge. So no matter how many tasks that are generated, it's free of charge. Okay, so that is an advantage of using open source model. Now, maybe capacity-wise is still a little bit lagged behind from the paid version of the models like OpenAI and other models. But well, the good news is that you don't need to pay anything to run the agents. So Bingyuan, later on, if you could share your code, and in particular, the code I sent you in the morning, the agent, I think that is the easy one for people to use rather than duplicating the space. So duplicating the space takes some efforts and expertise. So that you all can have a taste of what the future reality looks like, right? Being able to describe your task and allow all the models to work for you to accomplish that. Okay. Of course, there are going to be a lot of bugs here and there. As Bingyuan probably struggled quite a bit over the past few weeks. But that is very common, right? Because it's just the community that are working on this. Many people are voluntarily working on this with no pay. And there are tons of people who are as passionate as us, trying to develop new things, trying to learn new things, and things could go wrong. So we just need to be patient and be a little bit grateful for what have been offered to us free of charge, so that we can all enjoy the AI technology can bring to us. So any questions, any comments for Binyuan?
Well, actually, I do want to add one small thing, but real quick. That is every models on Hugging Face that I have a README file, and you can see here, it still have a description of what task can do, like here automatic speaker recognition. That is actually how Hugging Face or HuggingGPT find which is the right AI models. That's due to the description here. So that's it.
Yeah. That's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that, do you think writing a good prompt is a barrier using HuggingGPT to find the high quality and matched model, because the model description provided by developer are like it's automatic speech recognition, and when you write the prompt, you need like writing something related to that. Do you think it's a barrier?
Actually, I don't think that is a barrier, but that is not a very big barrier. It's like let's see this example here. As you can see, in this example, it's basically use of natural language. You just have to say it like what you just feel like you are talking to people, but you do have to give a very clear request about what you are going to do. So that might be a barrier, but not a very big barrier. So, and I think the real barrier is, can LLMs or like ChatGPT understand what the real task is and match it with the right task? I think the barrier is here. So as you can see, today we also suffer from that too. We said we want to generate an image, but what the language model recognizes is captioner, so it doesn't wrong. So things doesn't goes right. And I think the real barrier is like, even though we explain our task real clear, as for human, we know that is clear. But as for the LLMs, it might not be that clear. So I think that, and as you're right, it can be a barrier, but it wouldn't be a very big barrier, because only few attempts you will know that how AI understand people's language.
Thank you very much.
Great question. Any other questions for Binyuan? So another trend to briefly mention, besides the HuggingGPT and AutoGPT that you've already seen the power, is the language chain. It's called LangChain, LangChain, LangChain models. So LangChain is now a big hit in the AI technology. So what LangChain does is link different prompts together to form a sequence of prompts and feed those sequence to the ChatGPT or other language models to complete a complex task. So consider that you make a conversation with an individual. Usually you don't start with hello, right? You talk in some depth and try to figure out what's happening, try to maybe assign a task to someone, to a coworker. So there's the task really often demand a series of in-depth conversations. So the LangChain allow you to have an ongoing conversation to fully leverage the power of large language models. Okay, so feel free to explore that, and definitely, I think in the near future we'll probably have someone talk about the LangChain, which is probably the next big thing besides Hugging Face. Okay, so stay tuned, and we'll probably move along to LangChain quickly. Okay, so so if you don't have question, I think we can stop today. And Binyuan, if you could share your presentation slides together with the code, but definitely please do not share your API key. So keep that to yourself, nor your Hugging Face key. So you can definitely mask them when you share your Google Colab file, so that we can all or PY file, so that we can all learn. And we truly appreciate the efforts that you spend teaching us on this very important skill and very important technology. Okay, and so 2 weeks later, I will not join the talk, but we will have a talk going on. So I have to excuse myself, because that time I will be on the flight back to China. So we haven't been back to China for 3 years. So this summer we have decided to finally go back to China and spend some time there. But we will continue the talk. Even if I'm in China, I can still host a talk and invite our young and passionate speakers to keep update on the AI trend. So 2 weeks later, we will have another expert talking about AI technology. We will disclose that very soon. And in the meantime, if any of you you have a passion about doing a presentation like Binyuan did excellent today, please shoot me an email. Tell me what you want to talk about. What AI technology inspired you, and what you want to share with others. Okay. And I'm more than happy to schedule a presentation time for you. Okay. So we will line up, and we will never be short of topics. As you can see, there's so much going on that we need probably 100 people, if not 1,000, to cover all of them. Okay, so we will never be short of topic, and we will only pick the most exciting topics because I think some of the topics are definitely going to fundamentally change the way we work and do research. So if you have a topic, just let me know, and we can help you schedule that. I think it's a great opportunity for us to learn from you, and also you can develop your presentation skills and articulate the questions and being able to address questions. Okay, so I think those are really, really important skills, no matter what you do, where are you in the future. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for your attention. So I wish all of you a fantastic rest of the week. No, actually, we are coming to the next week. So I wish all of you have a fantastic start to the new week. See you, everyone. Bye.